Hi, and welcome to my playthrough of Reign of Cthulhu. It's a game based on the same game mechanisms as Pandemic, which is a game I really like. In Reign of Cthulhu, we are in New England. It's an H.P. Lovecraft setting, so it's all the monsters and all the names of the cities, fictional cities of New England that he invented, like Arkham, Innsmouth, Kingsport, and Dunwich. And what has happened? Well, the evil Cthulhu, he resides up here. He has punctured 4 gate holes in New England, 1 in each city. And what we need to do as investigators, this is a cooperative game, so we have to play together, a co-op game. So we need to close the 4 gates. And if we close the 4 gates, we will win the game. But we will lose the game if, you can see this is my character sheet, if we all, and when I turn around it turns black and white, and this is an indication that we have gone insane. So if all the investigators go insane, we lose the game. Furthermore, as you can see, there are cultists all over the place here, and every round, every turn, there will be more cultists entering these cities. And if we run out of cultists, here we go, the cultists. If we run out of cultists to put in the cities, then we lose 2 because we're overrun by the cultists. Furthermore, Cthulhu has summoned some shoggoths, creepy stuff, looks freaky. And there's 3 of them, and if we need to put down a 4th, then we've lost 2 because we have been overrun by shoggoths. We also lose a game if all these ancient ones are revealed. And finally we have to reveal Cthulhu, because then he will enter the world and we lost. And finally, this great deck of player cards. If we have to, we pull 2 out of this deck every round as players. If we have to take 2 cards from this pile and it's empty, time has run out and we lose the game too. So how's the game played? The investigators takes their turn, and in a turn they start by playing up to 4 actions. Then they draw 2 player cards, and finally they summon even more cultists here. Normally it's 2, but if you have revealed, you can see there's a little 2 here underneath these cards. But if all these ancient ones are summoned and turned around, and this one that's on the spot number 3 is turned around and revealed, then we need to take 3 summoning cards, and each summoning card will place 1 cultist in a location in Arkham. Let's take a look at the 4 actions that a player can actually take on a turn, and there's this little neat card that tells you what a player can do. First, you can take a walk, so you can, by using 1 action, you can move from 1 location to another, following one of these lines. If you are in a bus station, indicated by the little bus, you can take the bus, but you need to have a ticket to take the bus. And what's the ticket? Well, if I'm the driver, I can take a look here, and the purple card can be used. You just discard it, then you can take the bus from the bus to any location in the purple city if you discard it and put it here. If you're so lucky to have a green card matching, well, the card matching the city you're in, and this would be a green one in Arkham, then you can use this as a ticket to anywhere on the board that you like. So they're better. Finally, you can move if you are in a spot where there's a gate here. Here's the gate. You can say, I will move from this gate to another gate. But there's a price moving through gates, because that's just crazy, weird magic stuff. So you have to roll the insanity die. If you go through a gate, you roll it and something evil will happen, or maybe not. It depends on, I'll come back to this die later. Then if you're in a location with one of your friends, co-investigators, you can swap for 1 action. You can give the other person 1 of your cards if the other person wants that. You have to be willing, or you can take 1 card from the other one if they want to do that. So if you're in the same location, you can swap your cards, but you need to, if it's one of the card, for instance this green one, if you want to swap that to your co-player, then you need to be in a green location. You can't swap the purple ones. Then you need to be in a purple location. The relic cards, I'll come back to them later, are kind of magic cards that you can use, and you can do a lot of crazy stuff with them. You can always just swap them if you're in the same location. Then you can, if you're in a city with a cultist, then you can defeat a cultist by taking an action. So just use one action, then you can just remove one from the board and pile them up over here, so you won't be overrun so easily. You can, if you're in a location with a shocker here, then you can, but then you have to use 3 actions, then you can defeat a shocker and it will disappear. And finally, if you're in a gate, like here, and you have 5 of these cards, the green ones, because we're in Arkham. If you have 5 green Arkham cards, you can discard them and take 1 action, and then you can close the gate and put this on top of it. So now it's closed. And that's the end goal of the game. So you really need to pick up as many cards as you can here. You have a hand limit of 7, so you need to discard. If you get your 8th card, then you have to discard. So you have to have some kind of hand management in order to win this game. Let me get back to the insanity die, because sometimes you need to roll this, and it's never a good thing. You see, some of the sides are just blank. That's great, but some of them has this kind of weird sanity sign, and if you roll one of them, then you lose 1 sanity, and each player starts with 4 sanity tokens. And so, for instance, if I'm going through this gate and I roll this, and it says, oh, you lose 2 sanity, then I have to remove 2 sanity tokens from my character, and then I'm just down to 2. That's not good. If I roll a 1, of course I just remove 1. If I roll this panic, then 2 cultists will appear on my location. That's not good. If I am so unlucky to lose all my sanity, then I have to turn this around and I go insane. And every character has some special actions they can do. They have some advantage over the others, that they can do special stuff. And normally when you turn this around, you're insane. Not only do you just get 3 actions, you sometimes lose your special ability, or it will be transferred into something a little more insane than you would normally prefer. If you're insane and you close a gate, then you will turn sane again. When you close a gate, 3 things will happen. First and foremost, the gate is closed. That's great. 1 step further to victory. Secondly, if your character was insane, he turns sane again. And finally, all locations in the city where you close the gates are reducing the amount of cultists by 1. So if you have 2, 1 of them is removed, 1 is removed, and that 1 is removed. So you get a lot of these cultists back into the pile to get further away from using all the cultists, losing the game. Finally, in this player card stack, there are a lot of good cards. There are relics, the magic cards. There are the player cards that you can use for traveling around and getting ready to close gates. But there are also distributed through the deck cards that's called evil stirs. And evil stirs is when all the evil kind of bubbles up and gets even more crazy. The first thing that happens when evil stirs is that you have to roll the die to see if you go more insane. Secondly, you summon a Shoggoth more by taking one of these cards from the bottom, seeing if it's one of the cities here and putting it down there. And finally, you go through the awakening ritual. And when you do that, you turn around one of the ancient ones and see what evil comes to the city and the character or whatever. When you turn around, they all have different things happening when you turn them around, and there's a lot of ancient ones, and you just have to pick 6 random out of a stack of, I don't know how many, 12 maybe. So it's different from game to game, and you don't know in which order they will show up, and you just resolve that. And finally, you take these cards and the Cultist Regroup. So you take these cards, you shuffle them and put them on top of the stack. So now the cultist will arrive at locations that has already been pulled out of the summoning deck. So they will just pile up and have a higher concentration of cultists in the areas that has already cultists in them. And that's bad, because if you, when you summon cultists, are forced to putting a cultist in a place where there are already 3 cultists in, then you can't do it, because that's a cultist overrun or whatever. And instead of putting a cultist down there, evil awakens. So you need to turn one more ancient one up. So every time you have to put a cultist in a place with 3 cultists already there, you get closer to the end where Cthulhu arrives. And a final thing, if you take a look at these summoning cards, it tells you where to put a cultist, but some of them, okay, none of these. I'll just see if I can find another one. Some of them, here you go, you have the sign of the Shoggoth. And if you pull out one of them, you first put down the cultist in the area. For instance, if it's this one, you put down Great Hall. You see Great Hall, it's down here. You put a cultist here, but then the Shoggoths move. And they move, you put it here. And then the Shoggoth move, and he will always move towards the closest gate. So I will count here 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So he will go this way. And when the next card is pulled, where the Shoggoth moves, he will go up here. And now he is at the gate or portal. And if he's at a portal and he needs to move, he can't, because he's at the gate. And then he will just be swallowed up by the gate. And that could seem nice, because there's a Shoggoth less in the world. But it's not, because then an ancient one will awaken again, and getting closer and closer to the end game. I think I've covered it all here, so now I will start by playing with these characters and this setup, and I'll see you later. Bye bye, and thanks for watching. See you later.